My name's Asmat Mohammed from the Institute of Recruiters, and one of the most exciting things we're doing right now is the first phase of the launch of our IOR Academy. This is the academy that will deliver the Institute's education and CPD short courses to recruiters and HR professionals. One of the myths about recruitment is that people will tell you it's largely about sales. Sales and business development are specialisms in their own right, and a lot of professions require people to do sales, business development, bring on new customers, and relationship management, and recruitment is no different. But the act of recruiting and resourcing itself is a skill in its own right, and most of the IOR's education is around that particular skill. And sales and business development is treated as a specialism in its own right also. It's not all grouped into recruitment. Recruitment is a specialism over here, sales and business development a separate specialism, but both form part of the role of a recruitment consultant. The Institute of Recruiters is releasing qualifications for agency recruiters, in-house recruiters, and HR. And what's important is the recruitment training and information is consistent across all three disciplines. So when you study agency recruitment, you're actually studying all aspects of it, which then part qualifies you in HR, and the same information is being studied by internal in-house recruiters also. One of the exciting parts of our education is that it will unlock several new revenue streams for agency recruiters, and let me just explain why that is the case. When a business employs an internal recruiter or a HR professional is doing the recruiting for a business, they're doing several pieces of work for that particular business that cover several areas. Now, we know from government figures, according to the Department for Business, Innovation and Skills, 99.9% of Britain's businesses are SME businesses, which means they're 250 employees or less. And the majority of these businesses can't afford internal recruitment teams, so they rely on external professionals like recruitment consultants to offer those services that would traditionally have been done by internal recruiters. So the demand is still there, the service is still required regardless of whether the business can afford an internal recruiter, and it's up to agency recruiters to understand all of those different roles and start offering them to businesses and unlock several new revenue streams. So let's look at these new revenue streams. What are these activities that internal recruiters would normally have done, which agency recruiters are now required to do and offer as an additional service to clients? The IOR education and CPD for agency recruiters teaches things like predictive validity, which is a chart that predicts future job performance. So that's going to be important to any employer. We will teach you how to use this chart, how to take this in to employers and demonstrate through the research that created the chart in the first place which activities are actually going to more accurately predict the future job performance of a candidate. What's really interesting about this chart is that when you look at the classic trio of the application form, the CV and the references, these are actually low on the chart, which means that they're least likely to predict the right candidate for a job, which is not common knowledge. And if you show that to an employer, they're undoubtedly going to ask you, well, what are the activities that I should be doing in order to predict the job performance of a candidate more accurately? The courses themselves will go into this in far more detail and explain how recruiters can generate new revenue streams from these activities. But just to touch on some of the points, you have things like bespoke application forms. So for instance, generic application forms for each job are least likely to get the right candidate. Bespoke ones for each individual job that a recruitment consultant should put together on behalf of the client are more likely to get you the right candidate. So that's a service that recruitment consultants should be offering to clients. A deep job analysis is a vital part of getting the right candidate. Again, there's a skill to this. So recruitment consultants should be selling this service, that they would go into a business, they would look at how the role is made up, what kind of responsibilities are associated with that role, what kind of person would be best undertaking that role, and they will then do what's known as a deep job analysis that would lead to the application form, which would be bespoke, and it would lead to the job specification and person specifications. Structured interviews are another very, very important part of the predictive validity chart. You're low on the chart if you don't know how to do a competency-based structured interview, you're high on the chart if you do. So again, recruitment consultants either have to do the structured interviewing on behalf of the client, or they need to teach the client how to do structured competency-based interviews. Again, that's a service that you should be offering to clients, and clients should understand from the predictive validity chart how the difference is actually measured. In other words, what impact it has on getting the right candidate if you understand how to do a structured interview. Recruitment packs are a vital part of attracting the right candidate. They form what's known as a psychological contract with a candidate. So when a recruitment pack is given to a candidate, they have a different feeling about that particular employer. How to put them together, what should be in recruitment packs, these are all part of the specialism of a recruitment consultant that they should be delivering to clients and explaining how that has an impact on getting the right candidate. Onboarding is a very vital part of somebody feeling that they're in the right company. Again, a lot of small business owners are not sure how to do that process. They can't do the onboarding very well. They can't do the appraisals and assessments very well. These are where, again, the skills of the recruitment consultant come in, and they should be offered to clients as a service when people are taking new employees on, or they're doing appraisals of existing employees. If an employer is not looking to hire at that particular time, but perhaps is looking to promote one of the team members, that will again have a huge impact on their business. They need to know how to do appraisals and interviews in order to get the right candidate for that promotion. Again, a recruitment consultant should be looking at that and offering those services to be able to do a proper appraisal and structured interviews and assess the right candidate for that promotion, even if it's not a new hire. This is all part of internal mobility in a company. Employment branding is hugely important in today's world, especially with social media and direct hire. Again, the recruitment consultant needs to be the specialist in employment branding and offering that as a service to employers, making sure that they understand how their brand can be enhanced. Employment branding is not about the services and products that a particular company offers. It's about the employment opportunities that particular brand represents to candidates, and that's part of the value chain in making sure you're bringing the right candidates and the right talent into a business. Again, that's a service for recruitment consultants to offer for businesses who don't have internal recruitment teams in place. Job enrichment is also a really important part of making sure that when you get the right candidate, they stay in the job, they believe in the job, they believe in the company. There was a recent survey that PricewaterhouseCoopers did as they did exit interviews of 19,000 plus people leaving their jobs, and it gave the top 10 reasons why people leave the job. This kind of expertise should be delivered by consultants to employers to ensure that when they put a job spec together, they understand the common reasons why people leave jobs in the first place. The IOR education covers the 4 subsystems of recruitment and selection. So these 4 subsystems are attraction, which is around the pre-recruitment activity, establishing a prima facie case for recruitment in the first place, the job analysis, the consideration of the labour market, the use of recruitment methods, and responding to inquiries. The second subsystem within recruitment is reduction, the filtering, screening and shortlisting of candidates. The third subsystem is selection, the use of selection methods and techniques, making the appointment, the offer and the acceptance. The fourth and final subsystem is transition, and this is basically taking people from a pre-engagement process before the job right through to the induction and the appraisal. Bringing the recruitment, training and CPD and qualifications up to this level, at the same level as taught by other organisations in HR, is vital for the IOR to be doing to make sure that recruitment is actually seen as the most important aspect of HR, and it's one of the key elements in the growth of a business and its turnover. So for that reason, we think proper education, proper CPD is vital for our industry, and we hope that by doing this it will deliver professional recruitment consultants who are far more capable of engaging with HR and internal recruiters, understanding all aspects of the process, the complete holistic system in staffing, retention and release, and ensuring that they provide a hugely vital component part to SME businesses who can't afford to employ internal recruitment teams.